She's back. It's the spring market, and she is really getting ready for some incredible things in the next few weeks. And she's got a lot of open houses coming up. We're going to be talking spring maintenance, and her husband, who is the guy that makes the numbers work, Chris Klein, going to talk a little mortgage, a little banking industry. That's what he does, along with Pittsburgh Beautiful. And now he is heading to Baltimore and Louisville, and he's become a global phenomenon. Ladies and gentlemen, 866-391-1020. Dollar Bank Instant Access, KDKRadio.com, and you can text us on the right automotive line, the best deal in town. Coldwell Banker, Murraysville. It is time to introduce, here she is, Lauren Klein, a.k.a. the Pittsburgh Property Diva.
Good morning.
Good morning.
That was an awesome introduction. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, I can't see you.
When that little light goes on, I have to start talking.
I know.
I give it my best. Boy, this is a big time of year for you.
It's really, really busy. And as soon as you say you're going on vacation, the phone blows off the wall.
Nan's going on vacation. You're going on vacation?
Yeah, we're leaving in the morning. And last night I was sitting at my computer about 10 o'clock and I was still on the phone. And a lady called me to come and look at her house to list it. And I said, as soon as you say you're going on vacation, the phone just blows off the wall.
So naturally you said, no, you took care of her, right?
I did.
That's right. That's what we love about you. That's why you're the Pittsburgh Property Diva.
I try. And I had, I met with two radio listeners in the last week. And they listened so well that when I arrived at the property, I was so impressed and so blown away that listened to all the tips and all of the information about getting your house. Both of them are selling houses as estates.
Oh, okay.
So cleaned out, polished up, beautiful hardwood refinished, freshly painted walls and trim, and just incredible. I was so impressed and just so excited to walk in, and really did a great job, these two ladies who listened to me on the radio. So thank you.
You haven't complimented me on my Sheets coffee.
I haven't sipped it yet.
Take a sip, both of you.
Boiling hot.
That's the only way we go here. Boiling hot.
But I have some open houses tomorrow. I think there's only 2. I usually have 5 or 6 on Sundays, but my inventory shrunk a little bit because a lot of the houses sold. So I have 2 tomorrow, one on the south side. It's a gorgeous, super interesting, really neat layout. Apartment condo with some outdoor living space and parking, which is kind of hard to find in the city, but it's at 120 South 15th Street, and it's on the first floor, and that is a pet-friendly building, and the unit is adorable. 1 bedroom, 1 bath with a loft space, and that one's open tomorrow, and you can always look at my website for my open houses or on Facebook. And also I have a patio home in Murraysville that is absolutely stunning. It's never been lived in. It's the builder model, and that one's open tomorrow too on Cooper Lane.
You're just like a busy little bee.
Yeah, well, I'm getting on a plane in the morning, so I have to I got to get stuff done.
Seriously, you're such a type A like me. How do you just shut it down?
It's really hard. It is. It's really hard.
So you're working the internet. You're talking to people.
Yes, every day, all day long. Sometimes I'm like a switchboard operator. My mouth is dry.
I know.
Get a little fussy at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But, you do your best for your clients, and you do what you can in the best way that you can. And, keep your fingers crossed and hope for the best.
Well, as Casey Kasem used to say, keep your feet on the ground and keep reaching for the stars.
I guess. I try.
You know what, Chris? She has no idea who Casey Kasem is.
Yes, I do.
Do you?
Yes,
Yeah,
I
she
do.
does.
I listen to Casey Kasem, Top 20 Countdown.
Top 40.
Top 40.
Top 40 Countdown.
She was so busy she only had time for the first
I
20.
didn't
Yeah.
even have time for the 20.
She didn't really care after 10.
Yeah.
Hey, now listen. This time of year, being that he's in the mortgage business and he is so smart, does so many things so well. I can see why you married him.
Yeah.
You could have ended up with me, and that would have been real scary.
I'm
But
not
anyway,
sure what you see, Rob.
now you are. You're great at what you do. Does spring get as busy for you in the mortgage industry as it does for her? I guess it would, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's a little bit of a lag time because people start looking for houses, then they sign contracts, then they apply for a mortgage.
Right. And a lot of people don't understand that you don't lock your interest rate until you actually have a contract signed, sealed, and delivered. Then you're going to go make your mortgage application. So that's when you lock your interest rate, and the rates change every day. And Chris can tell you about that. But I always tell my buyers, you may have a rate one day and it's different the next day. It's different next week. It was different last week.
By the way, Signed, Sealed, and Delivered was number one in 1972 by Stevie Wonder, just in case.
Well, I was born in 1971.
So you don't remember that. But I do.
I like that song.
It was a very good song.
I like that song.
Because it makes sense in your business.
Right.
Signed, Sealed, Delivered.
Can you sing it?
No, I can't. We could turn it into a karaoke show, but no one would listen.
Nobody wants to hear me sing, I'll
No.
tell you what. If
But
anybody's tone deaf,
I
it's
know,
me.
I know a lot of folks do want to talk to you. So look, number of things on your mind that you might want to be talking to her about with this whole open house thing, spring market. So if your house is something that you want to get up on the spring market and open house coming to a neighborhood near you, maybe some things you should be looking for if you're heading out today or over the weekend or possibly going to one of her open houses. All of our lines are open. We can take 4 people right now, and it's going to get really busy this time of year because this is the busiest time of the year in the real estate market. So let me just give you the number here at the outset of the program, 866-391-1020. Dollar Bank Instant Access, KDKRadio.com, and you can text us on the Right Automotive line, the best deal in town. Lauren Klein, the Pittsburgh Property Diva, and me, Rob Pratt, back in just a couple of moments to take your calls. And when we come back, we're going to talk spring maintenance next.
So let me ask you, are you struggling with even the idea of selling your home? Or perhaps you're looking to buy your dream home, but you're not sure where to begin? If so, I want to share with you my 7-step process that has helped me sell over 100 homes a year right here in Pittsburgh. This process shows you how to negotiate the best possible price for your dream house or sell your house for the most amount of money in the least amount of time. Hi, Lauren here from Coldwell Banker Real Estate. You may have come across me on one of my shows, Talk Diva with the Pittsburgh Property Diva. When I got into this industry, all I wanted to do was help people find their dream home. Now, most people think the process can be really overwhelming, and it can be very stressful. Whether it's your first home or your 5th home, whether you want to build your dream house or move into an old Victorian, I tell my clients all the time, it's a big deal, and I totally get it. So, over the last 10 years, I've created a 7-step process that has helped hundreds of satisfied clients. I've even sold a house in less than 2 hours of it listing. I guess that's why they call me the Pittsburgh Property Diva. Now, I grew up in Pittsburgh. I watched my dad work a full-time job as a school teacher, and in his spare time, he was buying and selling homes, rehabbing them, and renting them out. He even built the home I grew up in, just reading manuals. Now, he only finished the house last year, but it's really solid. My dad always encouraged me to get into the real estate industry, but somehow I ended up with a master's degree in forensic science and law. I know, super nerdy, right?
Graduating from college.
He is.
That's big.
I'm so proud.
You're just happy because
I really am. I just beam when I think about it. He's at Pitt. He's environmental science major, and he's graduating. And he's been on the dean's list every semester since he started. I'm so proud. So April 28th, I am not working that day. That's graduation day.
Dean's list.
Yes.
What's in the DNA?
My daughter too. She's wonderful. She's on the dean's list too.
Well,
Yep.
I'll never forget what that first professor told me. You really have to leave. Yeah. This just isn't for you. You know what I'm saying?
But
you know what?
Great.
Listen.
All my kids are wonderful.
Well, we got a good mom. Mr.
Thank
Klein
you.
over here. Everybody's good.
Yeah.
Here's the thing about your business that I love so much. Look, you could go to Yale or Harvard, or you could have rich parents that would get you into one of those schools.
Right. Oh, man.
But listen, to do what you do, if you just like to work hard and you like to talk to people, you have a real good chance of making it in your industry. And that's what I love. Just about anybody from all walks of life, no matter who they are, if they work hard, they can make it.
You have to work really hard, and you have to put your head down, and you have to be very resilient, because this is a hard industry to get into and to stay in, because it is really stressful. And that brings me to, and we'll talk about this in a couple weeks, right. But my workshop that I have, this will be the second one this year. It's scheduled for May the 16th. So I get a lot of calls during the week about the workshop and when am I having another one, and what can they expect from the workshop. So you can go onto my website, pittsburghpropertydiva.com, and not only can you register for the workshop, which is May 16th, there are tons and tons of downloadable tips and forms and all kinds of stuff for buyers and sellers who are, looking for a new house or moving from one house to another. So lots of good resources on my website if somebody's up in the middle of the night and they want to get on there. And
but listen, this is a time of year where they're consumed by this, because they know if they want to get the biggest bang for their buck, true market value, if there is such a thing, now's the time to jump.
Well, you're in front of the most buyers right now. People get really excited in the spring, and they want to go to open houses and look at houses. And today, when I leave here, I'm meeting with some buyers that I've been working with, and I think we have it pretty narrowed down to one favorite after 22. So,
really,
yeah, and then a seller, and then more buyers that want to see 4 houses this afternoon before I leave for vacation. So, you say you're going on vacation, everybody's ready to write a contract.
Why this time of year for you?
It's always like this. It's been like this for the last 10 years.
Because you kind of take a quick jump out of town before it really gets busy.
Oh, well, I have to.
Yeah.
I have to rest my brain, recharge my battery so that I can keep on doing a good job for my clients. So anyway, I wanted to spring maintenance, and I downloaded this yearly home maintenance schedule, and there are some things on here that I think are really important, especially for spring. Now that it is starting to get a little bit warmer, there are a couple suggestions, and I think this is a good idea for everybody, whether you just bought a house or you've been living in the same house for 40 years. Clean the gutters. Make sure they're flowing properly. When the gutters are, dripping onto the sidewalk and they could clog up and leak into the house, you don't want that. So if you can't get up there on a ladder, find somebody who can clean the gutters out. It's totally worth the money that you spend on it, and you make sure that your gutters are flowing properly. When you have somebody up there cleaning the gutters, check out the roof for damaged shingles. With that windstorm that we had a couple weeks ago, I lost track of the number of people that called me and said, my shingles blew off. They're all over the yard. Some of my siding is hanging off. Don't let that go. Make sure you have somebody get up there. I like NASCO Roofing, and that's who I usually use for any roof-related problems, or if you need a new roof. Check the flashing and the resealing around the chimney. Re-nail any loose siding or trim. Check the house and the garage for any rotting wood, and repair is needed, because the winter here is, it's hard on the outside of your house.
Right.
So take a good inventory of things that need to be touched up and fixed up in the spring. Check the porch flooring, repair that as needed. Check and replace any bad caulking around the windows, doors, siding joints, or anywhere else that's needed. All of these things will end up saving you money in the long run if you take care of them on a yearly basis. So we just got a call the other day from our HVAC company that they're coming out to do the maintenance on the air conditioners before summer gets here. When you maintain things, they last longer, they look better, and it saves you money in the long run. My dad was real big on spring maintenance.
See, but here's the difference between your dad and my dad and this giant of a man you have over here.
Yeah.
We call him the Duke, John Wayne, folks. He just rides tall in the saddle. He's 6'10" and bulletproof. Me, I'm the mouse running for the door, But they do all that stuff. But you realize if you don't learn to do some of this stuff, you got to take out a home equity loan to get it done.
Right. And if you don't stay on top of it,
then
it ends up really, really expensive and messy.
And I know that this is not your strong point, but that's why klutzes like me should rent.
Well, I don't think you need to rent. There are people who can help you because
I've been told that, but there's always a couch involved.
Like Dave at NASCO, he wants to come over and make sure your roof is in good order,
and he's really good at what he does.
He's excellent. Yeah. So I don't go around and get on the roof and make sure everythings in order.
Think about this, though.
And I promise you, he doesn't either.
Well, no,
we gotta call people.
No. But he has a drone that flies over roofs that you're selling,
right? And
thus he can afford it. But here's the thing: think about what your dad did and my dad did. How those men that were real giants, like your husband, who could actually do things like that, how much money they saved themselves, but they taught themselves. And if you can teach yourselves with people like Andy Amron and EV True Value, that's a good thing, right?
Well, my dad built the house that I grew up in.
That's what I'm saying.
And everything has to be just perfect. And sometimes it takes him a really long time to get it just perfect, which drives my poor mother crazy.
But do you hear what you just said? He taught school.
Yes.
He built mines, and he built a house.
Yes.
I can't even set dominoes up.
Right.
Do you understand what I'm talking here?
Right.
This is why these people are incredible. When you think about all of the years, like my dad, quick story, every time I'd have a home improvement, every time I'd call him up and I'd say, "Hey, Dad, I need your help." And he'd go, "These are the tools I need." And I'd always say, "These are the tools that I don't have."
Right.
And he would always say, "How can you not have a power drill?"
Right.
Everybody has these guys were always prepared.
Well, my dad does know what tool goes with what job. And he's just very particular. And that's what makes him so special.
He was special, and he is special.
He is special.
Well, back in the day when they really needed to count pennies. And that's how they were able to build a house, right?
Well, he taught me how to scrub baseboards and paint baseboards.
But that's why you work hard today.
That's right. It's learned work.
Did you hear that list you just went over for spring maintenance?
Yes.
How prepared you were with that?
Yes.
That's because you've been down the road a little bit.
Yes. Maintaining your home is part of the whole home ownership responsibility. Yes, it's wonderful to have a home and own it and pay your mortgage every month and be responsible, but you also have to take care of it, and you have to make improvements on it so that you maintain the value and protect your investment. And if you don't do that, it gets very expensive when you go to sell that house, or you need a new roof and you're not ready.
So we got about a minute before the break, and we'll pick this up when we come back. We are going to still talk more about banking because that's what her husband does, the mortgage industry. But is it bigger this time for people out looking for homes or people selling, or does it all kind of even out?
Both.
Okay.
Yes, you have a lot of people who realize on the seller side now is the perfect time, and you have buyers who say, "I can't wait to be a homeowner, and I want to buy a house so that I can get settled over the summer and still go on vacation and all that kind of stuff. Get my kids back and ready for school by August."
So let me just cut to the chase. If you're thinking of buying or selling your home right now, you need to call us. 866-391-1020. All of our lines are open. Ashley Funyak, our producer today, 866-391-1020. Dollar Bank Instant Access, KDKRadio.com. And you can text us on the Right Automotive line, the best deal in town. We're going to get a local news update with Melinda Roeder. She's just 3 minutes away. Then we'll come back with more with Lauren Klein, Pittsburgh Property Diva. She's here every other week in the 8 o'clock hour. Next hour, it's Joe Randazzo and company. It's MediConnect. It's the Senior Zone. And then we head to the North Hills Home Show, which is free this weekend at the Wildwood Sports Complex Andy and Company with the EV True Value Home Improvement Show. Lots more still to come today on this Saturday edition of Rob Pratt Saturday on KDKA Radio.
From the Chafin Lujan
Real estate is where I belong. So if you're ready to raise your expectations for your real estate experience, I'd love to hear from you. Just click on the link below to download my Buyer or Seller Diva Kit. And you can also schedule some one-on-one time with me so that we can fulfill your dreams today.
tonight with a front moving through. Rain could end as wet snow, low 33. Flurry to start tomorrow, then cloudy and colder, high 36. Sunny but chilly Monday, 45. For AccuWeather, I'm meteorologist Bill Degger on News Radio 1020 KDKA.
54 degrees at Pittsburgh International. Our next news at 9. I'm Melinda Roeder on the Voice of Pittsburgh, News Radio 1020 KDKA.
The following is paid for by Property Divas, LLC.
These are the people who make Pittsburgh work. This is Pittsburgh Works on KDKA Radio.
All right, now listen, this is the spring market. Buyers, sellers get together. Busiest time of year. We've got the best. She's from Coldwell Banker in Murraysville. She's Lauren Klein every other Saturday at 8 o'clock. So I'm just asking you, if you're thinking of buying or selling your home, you want some free advice, all you got to do is call 866-381-1020, what you need to know. What you do need to know as far as the way to get it financed, because you can like a home all you want, you can dream about a home all you want, but unless you can get it done with this guy over here, Chris, and someone that's in finance, it's not going to happen. So why don't you two talk a little bit about mortgaging and financing and all of that good stuff that he has been an expert at for many years?
Yes, absolutely. I think one of the biggest things for buyers when they're decide it's time to be a homeowner or buy a new house, the financing is always a little intimidating, maybe, especially for the first-time home buyer. So, Chris,
Yes.
how easy is it to get pre-approved? How long does it take?
Oh, it can take minutes.
Okay, and when somebody wants to get a pre-approval, what do they need?
Well, when you want to get a pre-approval, you can actually get one over the phone. So
Okay.
you don't really need any documentation. At PNC, we call it a mini pre-approval. So
Okay.
you need to know how you get paid. Most people know this stuff too. You need
Right.
to know how you get paid and how much you get paid, your gross income.
So when you say how you get paid, what do you mean by that? Like, do you get paid every 2 weeks or once a month, or are you paid commission, or are you a salary or hourly?
Yes.
You want to know all of that.
Yeah, whether
Okay.
or not you're one of those. There's a difference between getting paid twice a month and biweekly. Twice a month is 24 pays a year. Biweekly is 26 pays a year. So you need to know that. And obviously, you need to know your social security number.
Okay.
And what happens is, literally over the phone, you can talk to your banker, provide him this information, and he can pull your credit report. He can take a look at what your credit scores are, because those really are the most important thing in any mortgage.
Your credit score is the most important.
Your credit score is the most important thing.
And your income.
Everything flows after that.
Okay.
If you don't have the right credit score, if your scores are too low, then you've got a challenge in front of you. You may not qualify for any sort of financing.
Okay. And so when you get somebody on the phone and you're working a mini pre-approval, you want social security number, how much money do you make, how are you paid,
Right.
and
Your address.
Anything else?
That's about it. I mean, there will be some other questions that are asked. Have you saved any money to purchase a home?
Okay.
So an idea of how much cash you have in the bank, because cash at home in a shoebox, or we call it mattress money.
Mm-hmm.
Believe it or not, in the mortgage world, even though you're dealing with banks, cash doesn't count.
Right.
So you need to have an idea of that going into it.
And where that money is.
Where it is, obviously. Is it in a bank account? Are you using your 401k? You know, that kind of stuff. But for a basic pre-approval, it starts with getting your credit pulled, taking a look at the debts that are on your credit report, the income that you currently make, and doing some quick math. And then I can turn around and tell you, well, this is the kind of loan you qualify for. Then if it's in your budget, we can talk at that point about how much money you're going to need to purchase a home of that price and what kind of programs are available. If you don't have a lot of money and you want to put very little down, or if you're selling a house and you want to put a lot down. So it all flows from there.
Okay, so do you help people decide how much they can afford?
Yes and no.
Okay.
It's affordability is that's a very everybody has a different viewpoint on that.
Well,
sometimes people want to buy more house than they can actually qualify for, but they feel they can afford it.
Right. Especially with my first timers, I'm always really budget sensitive.
Right.
And I want them to have a really good picture of what their monthly expenses are, how the mortgage is going to fit in, and what are they used to paying in rent, and what's affordable, what's reasonable, so that you're not house poor.
Right. And most people have a grasp on that, and that is a recommendation that I will make.
Okay.
If somebody comes to me and we pre-approve them, throwing out a number for a $200,000 mortgage, generally what I'm trying to do is pre-approve them not at the absolute maximum they can get.
Okay.
That way I can give them some wiggle room. I can say, look, you're pre-approved for $200,000. Now, that's not the maximum, but you gave me an idea of the type of house you're looking at. And generally, when you get a pre-approval, I'll ask you, what kind of budget are you looking at? Or what's the price range you think you're in? So if I can pre-approve you for that price range, but you could get more, I'll tell you can. But I would say I wouldn't necessarily suggest that, because you qualify for what's within your budget. So if you want to push the envelope, you can, but you're better off staying, right where you thought you were. You're right where you need to be.
Okay. And when you're doing this mini pre-approval or a full-blown pre-approval, whatever they need on paper to get to me to go look at houses and buy a house, are you able to tell them approximately what their monthly payment is going to look like at this particular house?
Yes. If I know what the taxes and the insurance are, then I can work up a full payment.
Okay.
And tell them what it will look like.
I think that's always really important, and that's where I like people to start, so that they're not over purchasing, even though they think they can. Do they really want to? Is it really necessary?
Right. Well, and that's something that I anymore in, 10, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, a lot of people like to push the envelope. It was a different market then. It was before the crisis. I really feel like nowadays people are more budget conscious.
I think so too. I think they're very budget conscious, and they like to make good decisions. And I think it's important too that the realtor, the banker, the buyer are all on the same page, so that they can get the buyer where they need to be in a budget that is comfortable for them.
Yeah, I agree. I tell people at the beginning of a pre-approval that once we look at your credit, and assuming everything looks good, you're right within where your budget is, it's really just the start of a journey. It's not the end game. And
right.
Communication between myself, the client, the agent, in this case it's key. And I think it's funny, even you and I have days where we miscommunicate about clients, just because there's so much that goes into a transaction. So you have to be very, very proactive, and you have to be proactive as a buyer. You have to be ready to jump when
right.
when your mortgage,
well,
when your lender says, I need A, B, and C, you've got to be ready to do it.
Well, not only that, but timing right now. The market is very competitive. So when the inventory is low, people do need to make quicker decisions than they're sometimes comfortable with.
Yeah,
so
I agree.
I try to warn clients out of the gate on the buy side that there is very little inventory, and there are probably 20 other buyers out in this particular area with this particular budget that are looking at this particular house all at the same time.
Yeah.
So that's why I like everything kind of lined up before we hit the road.
Yeah, and that is one of the other important things, is that when you're getting ready to do this, before you go out and start looking at houses, you should get your ducks in a row.
I totally agree.
You should talk to a lender. You should get pre-approved. You should have an idea of what the money is. You should talk to your real estate agent. I would suggest Lauren Klein, the Pittsburgh property dealer. But even if you're not, if she's not your agent, talk to your agent up front. Be up front with them as well.
Right. I agree.
Hey, let me ask you this before we take a break and come back and talk to Brad on the phone lines. Well done, Chris. The patio home in Murraysville.
Yes.
Someone just sent a message. They want to know where it's located.
4701 Cooper Lane.
Okay.
It is absolutely gorgeous.
Okay. So that address.
Tons. It has all the builder upgrades, about $20,000 worth of upgrades.
Okay, that was Dollar Bank Instant Access.
Yes.
We also have Right Automotive text message, best deal in town. We would love to hear from you. Give us a call, 866-389-1020. Dollar Bank Instant Access, KDKRadio.com. Text us on the Right Automotive line, best deal in town.
When you...
All right, really good stuff with Chris Klein, who, of course, her husband. If you want to see what we're doing in studio, go to Pittsburgh Property Diva on Facebook. They are always streaming this online. Pittsburgh Beautiful as well. Let's go to Brad and Clarion. Hey, Brad, welcome to the program. Good morning.
Good morning, people.
Hi, Brad.
I have a grandson that has been married a couple years now, and he's a real good boy. He has a good job, but he hasn't been approved for a loan for a house. And I was wondering maybe I could co-sign for him.
Well, I think that's more of a lender question, and we do co-signing all the time. So, Chris, you want to jump in on that, on co-signing?
I haven't talked to him about that yet, but that thought come to my mind. He was here
What did he ask
yesterday
about
and done some
co-signing?
work for me, and telling me about he'd like to buy a house. He already did buy one house. He flipped it though. He redone the whole house and everything, and he made good money on that. And he probably has that in the bank, I'd say. But he just hadn't been approved for a loan for a house, and I thought maybe that'd be a way to do it. I don't know.
Well, Chris, could you talk with Brad about how to go about co-signing a loan for his grandson?
Okay. So as far as co-signing on a loan goes, you are able to do that when you are co-signing on a loan for, say, in this case, your grandson. The bank is going to treat you as if you are an actual borrower. So in that case, you are going to have to provide pretty much all of the information that you would provide as if you were purchasing the home yourself. Because in the event that, and I'm not saying it's likely, but in the event that something would happen and the person you're co-signing for is unable to make the payments because of a job loss or something else, it does fall on you. So you will be put through the same procedure as your grandson in this case. Now,
I see.
There are also other qualifications involved in that they use what's called a debt to income ratio that they will assign, to you as well. So it's just not a matter of saying, hey, I've got this income and I'm going to co-sign and guarantee the loan. They want to make sure that payment fits in within everybody's budget. So if it's a regular loan, and this is getting a little technical, but if it's a regular or conventional loan, it's a little bit more strict. If it's an FHA type of loan, it's a little bit more lax.
Okay. Well, that's good. And Brad, I would guess get together with your grandson and your lender and see if that's a possibility for you to co-sign.
Hey, thank you for the call, Brad. But being the voice of reason, we all want to help. But, you have to really take a hard look at where you are in your life after working 40-some years. And once you co-sign, you have to understand if something happens to that, lender,
right, and
they don't get their money, they're going to come calling.
Dad, would you co-sign on the loan for me, please? My dad, he would be like, nope.
I was actually thinking of asking my children to co-sign for me. They're the ones with the future. Hey, but no, you really, you know what I'm saying. And I mean, I'm the voice of reason here.
You have to have him come.
Yeah, you have to get paid, Rob. You have to get paid in order to have them co-sign for you. You still have to make money.
Right.
Well, I've heard you do this for free, so.
No,
you're right. I do.
Co-signing on a mortgage is a very big commitment for anybody that chooses to do it. And if that monthly payment doesn't get made, guess who's going to make it? You are. And that's a very big commitment.
Is it still 10% usually down cash?
Oh no! I mean, it's
changed.
It's changed dramatically. There are so many different loan programs. And it depends on, again, like Chris said, your income, your credit, your debt to income ratio, how much debt you have. And we have USDA loans that are 100% financing.
Veteran loans.
VA loans, 100% financing. FHA loans, 3.5% down. And then you could go conventional. Some people do 2% down conventional.
Conventional, yeah. I mean, well, it's 3% down, but
okay.
3% down. But the interesting thing is that things have changed, but they haven't really changed.
Right.
I mean, before the crisis, you just had a wider variety of loans.
You're talking about 2008?
And yes.
Okay.
Yeah. A wider variety of loans and less stringent or zero credit requirements. Now they've kind of gone back to the traditional way. But even before then, you had FHA programs of 3.5%.
Lots of different options for buyers to take advantage of. And that's why when a buyer calls me and says, I'm ready to buy a house, I ask them a million questions because I want to make sure we're all on the same page and I'm guiding them in the right direction based on their finances, where they want to live, what their budget looks like, what they're looking for in a home. So, a lot of work goes into it on the back end before you actually pop the champagne and close.
Or a bottle of Ripple. Whatever you want. Hey,
whatever you want.
We got 1 minute to the break, and then I want you guys to be thinking vacation, both well-deserving.
Okay.
I'm
packed.
I don't have to ask her twice. But what's your words of advice for people who really think now's the time to buy or sell? What do they need to do between now and the 2 weeks that we get together?
Get your finances in order. Know what kind of money you have. Know what your credit is. Most people do know, they have an idea of what it is. They know if it's good or bad, or if they need some help rehabilitating it. And your tax returns, your pay stubs, round up these things so they're ready to go. On my website, pittsburghpropertydiva.com, on the buyer tab, you can click down. There is a mortgage checklist of things to round up and put in one folder, so that when you do find the perfect house and you do have a contract, you're ready to make your mortgage application and you're ready to go.
Let's say goodbye. Everybody wave goodbye.
Bye.
We're going on vacation. Have a great vacation, Chris. That means you too.
Thanks, Rob. I will.
All right, buddy. Enjoy.
Thank you.
Enjoy, guys.
Thank you very much.
All right, we'll see you in a couple of weeks. Stay with us. We got so much more to do. Now we're going to get into that senior zone with MediConnect. Joe Randazzo Company, Brian Reisinger, Steve Hoffman. 10 o'clock hour. It's the North Hills Home Show. It's a free event happening all weekend at the Wildwood Sports Complex. Andy Amrine and the guys from True Value.
Thank you.